All right, morning everybody. Tyler, Sammy, first episode of How to Make a Few $1,000. How you guys feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. I'm excited to talk to you guys today. And I think you guys are doing something great at Mattingly and Ott, and I'm excited that you guys are starting this podcast. It's going to be awesome. So
Appreciate
I
you,
love
Durbin.
it.
Thanks for being the first guest.
I'm happy to be here, dude. It's exciting to see two good friends out of college kind of stepping away from somewhat of the corporate structure. I feel like a lot of people do when they go to college and starting something different. It's a it's a big leap and it's a jump into the unknown. And again, I'm proud of both of you for doing it. So it takes a lot of guts to do it.
Appreciate that, Durbin. What do you think of the name, by the way? How to Make a Few $1,000.
I like it. I like it. There's always a chance to make a few $1,000s out there. You just gotta look for it. So
Yeah, I love it. That's a Sammy special right there. That's two for two on pre-tire and How to Make a Few $1,000. Name guy. All right, we're gonna jump right in. We got our first segment here, so we're trying to focus this show on, we said young entrepreneurship, but I think we can kind of expand that. And the first question or topic on the docket is, what are you building? And I'm going to leave it kind of open ended because it's like I texted you yesterday, Durbin. I mean, Sammy and I really think you can be building anything. It doesn't need to be a business. So yeah, that's going to be the first question on the docket. Tyler,
of
what are you
course, of
building?
course. Yeah, so I mean, right now I would consider that what I'm building is I've started an Instagram page, and I know Sammy and Fred, you guys know about it, but it's called
Hmm.
TD Fit Club. And I mean, it stems from when I was younger. I want to say it was around 13 or 14 years old, getting into high school. I My size, my body was a big focus of not being adequately big enough, tall enough, weighing enough, and like going into high school, I was wanting to play quarterback. That was something that I kind of looked forward to as I got in my older years. And we had a family get together at my mom's house, and we had a couple family friends over, and I remember someone making the comment of, Tyler, you're gonna play quarterback this year? Like just and then resulting like talking about my size, all this stuff. And it kind of stuck with me, honestly. And it's like it kind of hit a tone with me that like yeah, he's right. I mean, I need to get bigger. I need to get way more. I need to fill in my body. And so after that point, I started taking my fitness seriously. And again, going into my senior year of college, I really hadn't hit my growth spurt yet. And so I think my junior year I was weighing like 135 pounds. Senior year I weighed 150, and I ended up playing 1 year of college basketball at center in Danville, Kentucky. And during that time, I packed on about 25 pounds, which was crazy in a year. I mean, especially when playing a sport was a tough task. I was waking up in the morning, drinking gainer shakes, all this stuff. And I would do it in the morning, I'd do it at night, and I was just trying to put on as much weight as I could.
Hmm.
And after that point, like I stuck to it. I stuck to it through college, even like going out on Thursdays and Saturdays. Like I stuck to it because I loved it, and it all stemmed from an insecurity. And I know that there's a lot of people out there, again, that want to pursue whatever it might be. But I think a lot of your day-to-day stuff stems from having not necessarily a good physique, but being in the correct space mentally and like healthy wise, like with working out and your fitness. And so I started this Instagram, and it's it's gotten some good traction, and honestly it's like and I don't have a ton of followers, don't have a ton, but I enjoy doing it. I enjoy doing it. And I think it may allude to a question you may ask in a minute, Fred, but like how do I find that as like a success? And it's like I think it's staying consistent with doing something when the fun's taken out of it. It's like because you're all excited when you first start something, and I assume you guys felt that as well. But as like time goes on, the success kind of if if you don't enjoy it when you're going forward, and you're not always going to enjoy it, but you still pursue it, I think that's a good sign. So
That's awesome, Tyler. That's awesome. I feel like I've known you, from college and beyond. So I didn't even know kind of that story about the insecurity. Um, that's special. I think most of the time the best things we do in life stem from that insecurity and that just will to kind of overcome that. I guess one question off that
Yeah.
is you talked about being consistent when it gets hard. Do you remember the first time that the Instagram page kind of got difficult for you to manage, or you just didn't feel like doing it that day? Do you remember?
100%, 100%. Because the thing that I wanted to focus on when I started the channel, and I've learned to kind of change from this, but I wanted to have 30 days of consistent posts. So what did
Mm-hmm.
I do? I had all these posts planned, and I scheduled every single one of them for every day for 30 days. And you can even go back and you can tell it's just like he had planned these like for 30 days straight. And what I've realized, and I follow some really good content people online, and there's a guy named Alfie Gets Hard that kind of put me into the realm of wanting to pursue like some type of content and fitness. And what I realized, and there's a guy named Higher Up Wellness that does a great job as well, but what I realized is like it's all about just putting it out there and continuing and continuing. And I've mentioned it to Fred too before, is like content is so subjective. And like you may think a piece of content is so great, but the audience may not. But you
Mm-hmm.
may post something that you're like, this is terrible, but the audience may love it. And it's like you really never know. And of course you have some good instincts on some of your videos or some of your posts versus others, but you never know what's going to blow up. So post it. And so that's why I've been doing a lot of monologues recently, and not as much of like the scripted big posts. And what I can tell is, first of all, it's a lot more authentic, and second
Mm-hmm.
of all, I can get a lot more content out, instead of having to worry about every little minute detail and just doing speaking. It takes 5 minutes to speak and then put it on CapCut and then post it. And I don't know what you guys have experienced as well, but I think when you try to plan every single thing, you get stuck in the planning phase at some time and you don't take the necessary action that you need to. So that's what I realized what was important for me as time went
Yeah,
on.
definitely all about action. I also want everybody watching slash listening just to know that Tyler's the reason he got us, Sammy and I, on the posting every day. So shout out Durbin for inspiring our social media push here. It's definitely helped us a lot. Real quick before we jump into the next segment, you know, just to kind of circle back, like what would you say is kind of your main mission or objective with TD Fit Club? You know, with that entire social media package, is it trying to teach people like how to deal with an insecurity and overcome it? Is it how to kind of live a healthy, fit life? What's kind of your goal with the page at a high level?
Yeah, and I think like a lot of times, when I first started, I was focusing on the niche of like I want to just be just fitness. I want to just promote healthy lifting, healthy, all that stuff. And I think as time goes on, it's kind of like a documentary of my life and what I want to speak about. And I know probably I could pursue a niche of either talking or just doing the fitness because they don't really necessarily coincide. They do coincide with like bettering yourself, but I I don't. I think in the end, just helping people in general is what I enjoy. And if there's monetary value out of it at some point, that would be awesome. But I don't care. I love posting, and I love. I mean, you would be so surprised the and what I have 300 something followers right now. The amount of text and Instagram DMs and stuff that I've gotten that just like have encouraged people to go start something themselves, have encouraged them to take an action in their fitness. And I'll tell you what, at the end of the day, that is what matters most to me. I like if I can help one person, that's exciting. That's exciting to me. And I see it too in like my family, like my younger brother, he's like one of my biggest supporters, and it's so cool seeing him. Like he's going off now to pursue. He has a little side business right now that he's looking to pursue, and regarding in the kind of lawn care business and stuff. So it's it's cool to help people that are close to you, and also being able to post something online and reach people all across is awesome. So I think in the end, if there was something monetarily that came out of it, that'd be awesome. But I really do just enjoy helping people, and I'm always there to talk to people and help them any way I can, because I do feel that what you give comes back around. So
I love that. I love that. And that's just a great segue into the second item on the docket. What is success? You alluded to it earlier, and you're just saying this makes you super happy. And Sammy and I think this is an interesting question because it looks like a whole lot of different things for everybody. It could be money, it could be time, it could be a lot of things. So what is success with TD Fit Club? What does that look like, and are you successful right now, or?
yeah, I think success for me, I mean, I think in success is baked goals. Like, so like a goal this year, at the beginning of the year, I did a post, and you could go back and look at it. I, uh, and I have it pasted right behind this wall right here are the goals that I set for this coming year.
I
And
saw it.
one of my goals was 10,000 followers. So that's kind of just that's a objective goal that I have set within TD Fit Club. But I also have kind of some goals myself as and just truthfully, I haven't even met some of them. Like I wanted to post every day. That was like one of mine. And I think I haven't posted like 4 or 5 days. And I just want to close the gap each and every week. And I think to me that's what's important is success is like it's the compounding effect. The compounding effect towards somewhat perfection in your mind. And um, so yeah, I think success is stacking the days and not necessarily knowing what's coming to the end, but you have fun in the process. That is what I've found as being for me, I think success and helping as many people as possible.
I love that answer. What do you think, I guess when you have days where you don't meet your goal or you realize, oh, I didn't do this and I wrote that down, what does the self-talk look like for you that next day to kind of right the ship and get back to it?
Yeah, I think a great quote that I've heard, like one day mess up is that's just that's a bad day, but two
Hmm.
days is starting the form of a new habit. So like if you take one day off, that's okay. I mean, you've been consistent, whatever. That's like that's not the end of the world. But you have a second day that you don't do something, then you're starting to form a new habit. That's a bad habit that's getting you out of your tune. So
Hmm.
I think for me is again stacking as many days as possible. And I think again it's so important. Like we're we're all about making promises to others, but I think one of the most important things is making a promise to yourself. So making a promise to yourself that you're going to do something and sticking to it, I tell you what, that's one of the most important promises that anyone can make, because at the end of the day, like, and when I see it with fitness, is like you get one body, and to me, what makes me so not necessarily angry, but just sad sometimes is that people don't take care of themselves, and it literally branches into every other facet of their life,
Hmm.
and that's what I think. So
That's a great answer.
yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, it's something that I've thought about. It's tough when you're the only one in TD Fit Club, and it's like it's just Sammy and I, and in this business, and kind of that aspect of like accountability. If you're a big company or a big corporation, there's a manager who has a manager who has a manager, and there's weekly check-ins and bi-weekly check-ins and monthly meetings and quarterly assessments, and there's just all this accountability baked into it. But it's like, I'm sure like you feel with TD Fit Club, there's all these things that have to get done, and there's nobody making you do it. Like, you're holding
Yeah,
yourself accountable. And I think you make a great point just in that, one day off is, you got to be strong enough to be like, okay, don't want to let that happen again, because what happens if 2 days turns into 3 4 a week? Like, got to right the ship, and just keep moving. And you were talking about it earlier. It's just like the action of it. Even if you think it's not a great video or a great post, it's just like, I just got to do it because I'm gonna get it right eventually. And you can't kind of paralyze yourself with that indecision. or in action, and that's why I think it's super cool what you're doing.
Yeah.
So let's pivot into kind of the last segment of the docket. Again, it's kind of an open-ended, broad one, but and you touched
also,
on it a little
Fred,
bit. Go ahead.
Remember who sponsors this last segment too.
You're gonna have to drop it in. I don't remember. I don't remember.
We do.
Okay, all right. All right. Last segment on. All right. We're gonna pivot to the last segment on the docket, sponsored by Mattingly and I Financial Accounting. The What Makes You Happy docket. So Durbin, you kind of touched on this in the context of TD Fit Club, but I'm sure there's also other things that bring you joy and make you happy, and we like it on a positive, happy note here. So, what makes you happy?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that make me happy. I mean, one of them is, being that I live in Oregon now, I'm here out here with my girlfriend, and I've met some great friends. But again, there's no friends like the ones that you met in college and grew up with. And so, I mean, I think what makes me happy is calling, and I've spoken to you, Fred, on the phone multiple times, but just having those weekly calls with your friends and just catching up and seeing how they're doing in their life. That makes me extremely happy. Again, I love maintaining connections, and I think it's something that's so important as you especially get older, especially when you go off with whoever and get married, and it's like making sure that you maintain that point of contact with your friends is vital. And I love doing that. I love traveling. I've been blessed to have gone to a lot of cool places, and um, being able to experience different people and interacting with different cultures has been extremely awesome. Um, I think too, I love the not only the adventure side and travel, but kind of like the unknown. And I mean, when I moved out here back in when was it, August, I mean, I didn't have a job set up. I quit my job in June, and I was for 3 months. I didn't know what I was planning on doing, but I knew for a fact I was going to Oregon, and nothing was going to stop me from doing it. I knew when I got out there, I'd be able to find a job, and was going to not let that be an option of not having one. So, um, I do thrive and love the unknown, and that makes me happy as well. But also too, I mean, a happy place for me is the gym. And I know I've said it earlier, but like I like cooking too. Cooking makes me happy. Um, Fred, we fixed some great meals together
I
back
was
at the
just about to
swamp back
say,
in
I remember that. I remember that.
But no, it actually is. It's very therapeutic at times to just cook and maybe listen to a tune and open the windows and like those simple things. I think finding happiness in the simple things is important, because I think you'll look back, and like I'm experiencing it now with like my grandma. My grandma's getting older, and I look back to it'd be like Saturday morning after we played football on a Friday, and going out there with a bunch of buddies, and she'd fix us oatmeal and Eckrich. And it's like I look back at that, and that was like such a small thing, and she didn't know how big it was at the time, but like it it was awesome. It makes me so happy, like thinking back that my friends got to go out there, and just like how much that meant to her to be out there as well. And I get happiness from other people too. So seeing other people happy and pursue what they really love and enjoy is awesome. So
Yeah, 100%. There's something special about the human connection piece, like you were talking about, calling up a friend, traveling with friends, seeing people. I was just out of town over the weekend, and there were people everywhere walking around outside, and it's something that I think that I want to see more of in Louisville. Sammy and I just kind of moved toward downtown in the Nulu area, and there's some people, but it really makes a difference when you're walking to work, or you're going to lunch, or you're leaving, and there's always people walking around, and it's tough to really explain, but it just makes all the difference in the world. Instead of jumping in a car and driving to big office in a big parking lot somewhere and nobody's walking around, and that's
Yeah,
yeah, there's something special about that.
I agree.
Yeah. Sammy, you got anything else? What are your thoughts? You look like you're thinking.
I did have one follow up, Durbin. What about Oregon called you?
So I
Good
met my girlfriend in DC. So after college, I moved to DC for 2 years, and I met my girlfriend when I was up there, and we were together for about 3 or 4 months, and she ended up moving out to Oregon for grad school.
Okay.
So we did a 1 year long distance when I was in DC, and then I was so ready to get out of DC. I'm not a fan of DC. It's a great place to visit, but I did not like living there. And so she moved to Oregon, right outside of Portland. And I originally, right after college, I wanted to move out west. So I was thinking of Denver, Salt Lake City. And even when I was in DC, I was like, those are kind of like the next spots that I'd like to end up. And being that she was out in Oregon, I'm like, if I'm going to go all the way out west, I'm not going to stop in Denver or Salt Lake City. I can't do that. I gotta go all the way. So, so I decided to come all the way to Portland, and I'll be honest, it's crazy because you see it on the news, and every city's got its problem, and Portland's got its fair share, but it is one of the coolest cities I've ever been in my life, and I never in my life would I have ever wanted to move here, thought of moving here if it wasn't for my girlfriend being here. But being here it's awesome. I mean, it really is. It's been one of the coolest places. You've probably seen it too on my Instagram. I look out my window and I see Mount Hood off to the left. And it's just there's not many places you can get something like that. And it's like knowing that I'm not going to live here forever, but enjoying the time while I do, taking advantage of all the nature and things that I have around me. It's a cool spot to be. So,
Yeah, I'm looking out my window right here, and I think I've got an old abandoned, what looks to be some sort of multi-story strip mall, in a gravel parking lot. But I love the city. I love Louisville.
Well,
I don't want to.
Fred, there's a lot of potential there. There's a lot of potential there. That's what we see.
Yeah, we see potential. I love it. All right. Well, I think that's a great place to wrap. Durbin, really appreciate having you on, learning about TD Fit Club, learning about what makes you happy, kind of what motivates you. And I think ultimately that's what we're trying to do with this podcast is just, hear people's stories about, what gets them going because, like all three of us on this call, we know a lot of people that graduate college and they kind of feel like they got to get a job, and then once they get it, hold on to it for dear life, even if they don't like it, and never do anything else. And that's why it's great hearing your story, Durbin. You DC to Oregon to who knows where next, and that's awesome. So we really appreciate you coming on How to Make a Few $1,000, and yeah, we'll talk soon.
Yeah. Well, I want to say something too. I appreciate both you guys and what you guys are doing. I like to think, and kind of in my head, that you guys are somewhat leading the charge and pursuing your own endeavors after college outside of the corporate world. So I'd like to kind of tip my cap off to both of you because I think you guys are doing great things, and I'm excited to see where this podcast goes, but also see where you guys go in your Madden Not endeavor. So I know that you guys are going to do great because I know the type of men that you are, and I'm just excited for the ride. So
thank you.
Love it, man. Love you, Durbin.
Yep. Love you guys.
All right. See you all.
See ya.
See you, boys.